if you guys have any questions, so we're going to dive right into our deadlines. Deadline. So, do any of you guys know what the tax deadline currently is? What the tax deadline for personal taxes and what the tax deadline is for business owners? My Facebook is now live as well. I know Selena was trying to hop on, so let me see if I could invite her as well. There she is. Let me invite her. And see if they have any questions too. So, cool. So, the tax deadline. There's two different tax deadlines. That's the topic we're talking about tonight. We thought we would start this off pretty slow and pretty easy, and then as each week progresses, our plan is to dive deeper and deeper to some more intricate topics around taxes. And of course, if you have any questions for us, we're happy to answer those questions for you as well. So the tax deadline. So there's two different tax deadlines. The first one is on or around March 15th. On or around March 15th is the first tax deadline. Okay. March 15th is the first tax deadline, and that tax deadline is for business owners, or if you own a nonprofit organization. And the reason behind that is typically business owners are responsible for issuing 1099s and W-2s. W-2s to their employees and 1099s to their independent contractors. And if you're a nonprofit organization, then people have given you donations all year, and they're wanting to write those things off on their taxes. And so the government kind of wants to know how much in charitable contributions you received for the year, so that when these companies start filing their taxes and taking those deductions, that all the paperwork kind of ties together. Okay. So I did tag Selena good. So I tagged her. And if you could put your questions in the chat, guys. Let me see. I'm on my computer, and I'm hoping that let me see. I think I can see your comments. Can you guys see my comments? So I'm going to just type in the chat and say, put questions and comments on Facebook. Again, I talked about that I can't answer anything like private questions that have to do with any private information, but I can give you some general questions, and feel free to just type your question in the chat. If you want to join me live, then request to join. So tonight's topic is, we're talking about deadlines. And what is the deadline for taxes? And it's actually two. March 15th, on or around March 15th, for business owners and nonprofits, LLCs, S Corps, partnerships, but not necessarily single member LLCs. Let's see, we got a notification. I don't know if someone's trying to join here. SW Fields likes your story. Okay, cool. Awesome. So, not single member LLCs. Multiple member LLCs are the ones that's actually due on March 15th. And the reasoning behind that, guys, is because these tax returns kick out what we call a K1. And a K1 is basically like a W-2 for business owners. And so privately, anybody that's invested in your business or has an interest in your business needs that K1 to file their personal taxes. And so a K1 is essentially like issuing a W-2 to a business that has done business with you, essentially. So that's the first deadline, March 15th. Now, the second deadline, which you guys all know about, is April 15th. Okay, and it's on or around April 15th. So, and the reason we say it's on or around, it's because if it falls on the weekend, then the due date is actually that next following Monday. So if the 15th falls on a weekend, that due date is actually the next following Monday. And the reason we wanted to talk about deadlines right away is because it's crucial, guys. Deadlines are crucial. If you don't pay your taxes on time, there's penalties associated with it. You get interest charged, you get penalties charged, and you get fined for being late, especially if you have a liability. So, one of the things that we try to do, whether our clients owe or they don't owe, we try to meet the deadline, because you never know. The IRS could come back and say, hey, you did something wrong. We had to adjust your tax return. And if for any reason you owed, then the payment is now late if you filed something late. Like if you think, hey, I don't owe, maybe I don't have to file my taxes on time because I don't owe. But what if something's wrong, they adjust your tax return, and then you end up owing, and you filed after the deadline? Then guess what? Technically, that return is now late. It's now late. And if you have any questions that I can't see, DM them to us, message them. You can DM us on Download to Luke Taxes on Instagram. You can DM me on hairart_salon 1908. And of course, any of my followers on Facebook, you can direct message me your questions and I can grab them from there as well. And if we don't address your questions today, then we'll address them the following week. So don't worry. Okay. So you want to meet the deadline. You want to, just because anything could happen. Here's another thing too. So we're an accounting firm, right? We are a stickler for deadlines. So my background is accounting. My degree was in accounting. I attended Northern Illinois University, and I always knew I was originally an engineering major. I remember being in high school, and my cheerleading coach, I said, if you're really good at math and science, what should you major in college? And she told me engineering. So I went into engineering in college, and I absolutely hated it. I worked too hard for a C. AutoCAD was not my thing. And so I had a friend who had just got accepted into the accounting college at Northern Illinois University. And he said, hey, Steph, you should look into accounting as a major. And I knew at the time I really loved doing hair. You know, you see I got a mohawk and everything, right? I was always very eccentric and into fashion, and I love music. I used to think I wanted to be a rapper when I was growing up. I was for sure I was going to be a rapper, you know, growing up in the MC Light days, Queen Latifah, Salt and Pepper. I was like, I'm going to be a rapper. So when he told me to study for accounting, I was like, you know what? I'll study accounting so I can be a badass business owner. But I want to be a business owner for creatives. And then I went a step further. I was like, the Lord gave me the idea that I would open up a tax firm and an accounting firm for creatives. And I remember I named it My Salon CPAs. That was going to be the name originally, My Salon CPAs. And when the pandemic happened, so I graduated college, but I also, you know, I wanted to be a hairstylist, but I wanted just to be a badass business owner in the salon industry. And so I was like, okay, I did auditing for a few years. I knew where I was working my junior year of college. I had already had a job offer my junior year of college. I worked for Grant Thornton LLP. That was my first job coming out of college as a public auditor. And then later on, I went to do internal auditing for Sears Roebuck. So I think like an auditor. So if I had to say what my strength is auditing. And one of the reasons I started this accounting firm is because I wanted layman people who didn't know accounting and tax and auditing, to not be scared of it. Like, I wanted to break it down to you in a way that was easy to understand. And I felt like there was a gap in the industry for creatives, because we all know one thing about being a creative, right? It's a gift like none other. You know, our brains are constantly working. We're creating stuff and we're thinking of new pieces. We're designing new clothes. We're seeing all these visions. But a lot of times when you are creative, you don't have that number savvy. And if you do have that number savvy, you're really like an exception to the rule. And that's how I am. I have that left and right brain where I'm actually creative, but I'm also analytical. And so I felt like there was a gap in the accounting industry, in the tax industry, in public accounting firms, in private accounting firms that specialized in creatives. And I remember too, and I also tell people, I said, I felt like, you know, after I graduated college and I went to work in the accounting field, I felt like I didn't fit in. Like I tell people now, I said a mohawk didn't quite work in the accounting office back then. So I wanted to create an accounting firm where a mohawk was okay. It was okay to be unique. It was okay to be an individual. And so that's a little bit of my history. So when I advise our clients and when we prepare their tax returns, I'm really preparing it from an auditor's eye. Like I want to make sure we dot every I, cross every T, so that the return doesn't get flagged by the IRS. I don't know if any of you all have ever been audited by the IRS, but from what I've heard, it's not fun. It's not a fun process. And the reason it's not fun is because you didn't have the documentation together. The numbers didn't tell a story. And that's all auditing is the numbers have to tell a story. Like if you put a number here, can I actually trace where that number came from legitimately? And you're not just making the number up. That's essentially what auditing is. You have a number, and then they're going to verify that that number came from where you said it came from. It has the paperwork to back it up. It has the transaction history to back it up. Does it have the Instagram post to back it up? And so that's essentially all that auditing is. You know, do you have the documentation to back it up? And so that's how taxes are. Same thing. When you do your taxes, I shared a meme yesterday. This guy said he did his own taxes. He was like, yeah, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. And I shared it on our stories because I thought it was so funny. But honestly, guys, you don't have to be scared of tax season and tax time. You know, accounting is a very ethical profession, or at least it should be. And really, all you have to do is just tell the truth. Tell the truth. But where we come in as accountants and tax professionals is that we know how to tell the truth and save you money. We know the tax laws, so we know where you can apply something that you probably think you couldn't apply it. And so, yeah, while it might be cool to do your taxes on your own, because you didn't study it, you may not know all the eligible write-offs that you can take. And as business owners, let me tell you, you are looking to minimize your tax liability. You know, of course you want to be profitable all day. Hey, when you're paying taxes, that means you're making money. So you want to get to the day that you are paying taxes on your business and that your business is profitable and that you're actually making money. Okay. You want to get to that point. But just think, if there was a write-off that you could have taken that you didn't take, that could have been a website build. That could have been a logo build. That could have been just an expense or an investment in your business. And so I'll give you a great example. So we had a client last year. So last year we began testing out a bookkeeping program. Okay. Us actually doing bookkeeping for clients. And it's something we had never done before, but we were testing out. And let me tell you why we decided to do it. It was something that at first I didn't think we wanted to do, but what was happening was we were actually preparing clients' taxes, and we were seeing that, man, you just started this business last year. Why are you paying $10,000 in taxes? Or why do you just owe the IRS $700 in taxes? And dude, you only made $2,000. We was like, why are you owing when you hardly made any money? And what we saw was that our clients, they weren't identifying just they weren't tracking their business expenses, their eligible business write-offs correctly. And so we saw a need, and so we took a small sample of clients and began to hone in on what we wanted a bookkeeping service to look like for our clients. And it would really came from us doing their tax returns and seeing that they had a liability that really they had better tracking. So we call our bookkeeping program 180-degree tracking, because we felt like, man, if they track their expenses better, okay, I see you. You're gonna DM me. That's perfectly, girlfriend. That's totally fine. You can DM me separately too. I got you. And if it's something that I feel like we can answer on a show, I'll answer it on the show, but of course I'll also answer you privately as well. Okay. And so we saw like, man, if they had a little better tracking, they wouldn't have had this liability. Like, dude, did you track? How many times did you go to the grocery store and did you film yourself going to the grocery store and buying that smoothie stuff? And did you go on air and mix the smoothie on air and talk about the ingredients? Did you do any of that with that? It's like, yeah, I did that. Where's the receipts? You could have wrote that $10 grocery bill off that you were going to use to make that smoothie stuff on live that you went live with, and made a smoothie on air and talked about the ingredients and talked about all your amazing supplements. And so we created our 180-degree tracking program because we saw our clients were not tracking their expenses correctly and that they had eligible write-offs. I just went off on a tangent because today was supposed to be just about deadlines. But so again, let's go over tax deadlines. There are two. And I feel like this live might be pretty short today because tax deadlines are pretty easy. And again, DM us your questions. We'll answer them on live the following week. And we'll reply back and say, hey, we'll answer that question live. And then once we answer it for you, then maybe we'll DM you or tag you in the video and say, hey, we answered your question live on air, if it was something we can answer live. And then of course, if it's something that's private, we might say, hey, you might want to book a professional consultation with us. Link in bio. Go to our website. Our website is pretty cool, downtownlooptaxes.com, and you just click start your journey. We say all of our clients, when they come on board with us, we're blessed to be on this financial services journey with them. That's how we feel. We feel like it is an honor and a privilege that they chose us to be their accountants and to hold them accountable, to help them grow and scale their business, to make sure that their numbers are correct. And you might think that, hey, I'm not really making any money right now. Like, do I really need bookkeeping? Do I really need accounting? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I always advise our clients, you don't operate for where you are operating for where you are going. That should be your measure. You want to know now what it's going to cost. What is it going to cost for me to do business at the highest level, giving honor and glory to God, and where I won't get in trouble with the IRS? What is that cost? It just automatically factor it in now. I'll tell you, I know this year, like for us, we're still building out our office, right? Construction took way longer than we wanted to, and so our team have been working remotely. And of course, I could have cut costs, right? Like, oh my gosh, we didn't have the type of clientele that we thought we were going to have. We didn't have the type of client level that we thought we were going to have. And I didn't cut costs because I wanted to know how much is payroll taxes going to cost? How much does it cost to run internet at an office that we're not there at? How much is it for the gas bill? How much is it for storefront rent? I wanted to know what those costs were so I could put a demand on God. This is how much money we need to make. Okay. And now I know, one, how much money we need to make to cover our operating costs. And had I skimped costs and said, oh, we're not operating at that level right now, those costs would have came down the line and it would have blindsided me. It would have blindsided me. And another thing I like to tell my clients is it's okay. The first couple years, the first 2 years, for your business to be in what I call this research and development phase. And you're going to see a loss. And what a loss is, you're putting in more money than what you're getting out. That is completely normal. That is a completely normal trend for a business. You should be putting more money in than what you're getting back, because those first years are critical building years. They are critical building years, and you need to be investing in that business, and you need to put yourself last, because you got to grow and scale the business. And what you're essentially doing is just putting the business on a solid foundation so that 5, 6, 7 years from now, you can eat the fruit of the seeds that you're planting. You can't be eating fruit off of something that you just planted, right? That's not the natural order of anything. What the Bible says, seed time and harvest will never cease, right? So when you're looking to grow a tree, guys, what do you do first? You got to plant the seeds. Then you got to water the seeds. Then you got to cover it in dirt. And dirt is not good, getting covered in dirt, let me tell you. That's like the pains of starting a business, and being an entrepreneur. You got to cover it in dirt, but then you water it, sunshine, and then God is the one who makes it grow, right? So a lot of people want to eat the fruit off of their business in the beginning when you're really in the seed planting stage. Really in the seed planting stage. So I know we're supposed to be talking deadlines. You can probably tell that it's so funny, like when our clients reach out to us, you get so much more from us. We just feel like one of our models is build the relationships and the money will come. Build the relationships and the money will come. And so we're all about relationships, and we want to dispel the myth that tax and accounting and auditing is scary and it's not approachable. So I hope today I've kind of, broke down that wall a little bit about our industry, that it's not actually scary. There's actually an accounting firm out there, guys, that's approachable, which is us. There's actually an accounting firm out there for creatives, right? If you in fashion, if you sell jewelry, if you a baker, anything that requires your creative mind, guys, we are the accounting firm for you. So I'm just going to wrap up here. Remember, DM us your questions, instant message us your questions. If they're appropriate enough, we'll answer them live. And we're going to do this. Our goal is to do this every Thursday, and we won't have as many technical difficulties. We're actually going to we're going to look into maybe StreamYard, where we can go live on multiple platforms at once, because I know I have several social media pages and stuff. And then we're also going to be inviting guests. We're going to be inviting some of our clients on, our current clients that have been in this pilot phase with us, helping us develop the type of accounting firm that you guys need. We're going to have some of them on, and so you'll get to learn about their business and see what it was like working with us. And then we'll touch on something, accounting topic that I know we might have addressed with them, and you can hear from them their aha moments in their time with us during the year. But so I just want to leave you with 2 deadlines, guys. 2 deadlines: March 15th, April 15th, on or around. If the 15th falls on a weekend, then it rolls over to that following Monday. Deadlines are essential, because if you don't meet deadlines, guys, then you run the risk of getting excess penalties and fees charged by the IRS. On top of, they're going to charge you interest for the taxes that you owe. Okay? So don't think it's something you can brush under the rug. It's going to eventually catch up with you. Another reason why deadlines are important and a sense of urgency is important. So I know for our accounting firm, okay, so that first deadline is March 15th, right? If you come contacting us March 1st, talking about, I need your help, we're going to charge you a rush fee. We are. Because one thing I know about my team, we have registered IRS agents that work on our team. We have my son, who is part of our team. He's a senior at Morehouse. They are very ethical, and they're very meticulous, and they make sure that they're accounting for everything, and they don't like to rush. And I don't want my team to feel like I'm rushing them. I want them to do a thorough job, because at the end of the day, our name and our numbers are on your tax return, and we have to stand account for what we did on behalf of you. And I know my team, they don't like to rush. And so starting March 1st for us, or April 1st, we charge a rush fee. And then if we feel like we can't meet the deadline for you, then we advise you to do an extension for time to file. And so that's another thing you can do. If you feel like you can't meet the tax filing deadline, you do have an option to do an extension for time to file. But again, if you're a business owner, if you have a partnership, if you have an S Corp, and you have to issue K1s to people that have an ownership interest in your business, you're playing with fire. You're playing with fire. Because they need those documents to file their personal taxes, which are due April 15th. And you being late is going to cause a rippling effect, and then they're going to be late. Okay? So sense of urgency. So one thing, you're going to get penalties, interest charged if you run late. And here's another thing. Even if you file an extension with the IRS, guess what? That extension is just giving you more time to file. But if they found out you owe taxes as of that deadline date, they're going to start charging you interest as of that deadline date. So you might as well just go ahead and file. Because if they're going to charge you interest anyway, and then you paid us to do an extension for you, so just a sense of urgency. But yeah, worst case scenario, you can file an extension, but know that it's just an extension on filing. But if you had taxes due, you need to cut them a check, or what you estimate the taxes to be, or they're going to charge you interest for every day that payment is late. Okay? Another reason why deadlines are so important, we charge extra rush fees. You come to us March 1st, April 1st, and you want us to meet a 15 deadline, it's a rush fee. And I'm going to tell you, it ain't cheap. It is not cheap. When we started this bookkeeping program, we started working with clients at the top of January. And then some came on with us at May. And then at that point, we was like, okay, that's good. We're not rushing. We still got time to catch you up your books. But people were contacting us November 28th, talking about, can you do my bookkeeping for a whole year? And let me tell you, yeah, we can do it. But it's going to be extra fee on top of extra fee on top of extra fee. Because now we got to rush. And we got to basically do overtime to get you caught up, so that we can get you ready come January 1. Because we can't be doing your bookkeeping when we trying to get ready for tax season. Okay. So second reason why deadline is important, because you will avoid some of those rush fees from preparation companies and accounting firms, right? And then the last reason that deadlines are important is because it's the beginning stage of accountability. It's the beginning stage of accountability, guys. As a business owner, to whom much is given, much is required. And I recently told someone this in a private coaching session. This year, we're also branching off and now expanding our services to marketing for our clients, where we're starting to pilot that phase. And so I was doing a one-on-one coaching session with a client, helping them to unlock the key to their brand key, unlock the first key. And if for any reason you want to maybe meet with me with branding or marketing, if you go to stephanieblakley.com, And if you go to brand identity, there's a little sign up there, and I'll see that come through, and then I'll send you a Calendly link to schedule some one-on-one time with me. But what I was telling that person during this coaching session, I said, I feel like when we're in heaven, right before time, I feel like there's like these assembly lines. Like I picture these assembly lines, and some of us got put in the entrepreneurship assembly line, or we got put in the creative line. Okay. And everybody doesn't get to get put in that line. To be creative and to be an entrepreneur, that is not an easy task. It's actually a special calling and a special anointing by God. The Bible says many are called, but few are chosen, right? And so you go in this line and you get this special blessing, and God's going to hold you accountable to that. When you're an entrepreneur, it's taxes to be paid. It's payroll to run. It's forms to fill out every year. To whom much is given, much is required. And so I feel like the taxes is the beginning stages of you just becoming a responsible business owner. And it's teaching you some of those disciplines early on, the importance of deadlines as a business owner and as an entrepreneur. Well, I'm going to wrap up here. My name is Stephanie Blakley. We are Downtown Loop Taxes. We are where creatives go for taxes. You can find us on Instagram at Downtown Loop Taxes. You can find us on our website, downtownlooptaxes.com. You can find me at StephanieBlakley.com, and that's Blakley, StephanieBlakley.com, and it also has a link to Downtown Loop Taxes. But we're going to be hopping on here. You know, one of our personal goals as a business this year was to up our marketing. And my good friend, my vice president, she's like, Stephanie, more people need to know what you have to say. And you got to start a podcast. That's what she told me. You got to start a podcast. And so we set one of our goals this year is for me to venture out of my comfort zone and to share with the world what I do in private with my clients. And the Bible says that a city set on a hill cannot be hidden, and that you are the light of the world, and we should let our light shine before men, and we're the salt of the world, right? And so this is me being obedient and letting my light shine, getting out of my comfort zone, and sharing what I share with my clients that I feel so blessed to do. I feel so blessed to be able to wake up every day and get to do something that God put inside of me that's a passion, and that's to create an accounting firm designed around creatives so that we could close that gap, so that we can empower creatives. You know, the Bible says our people are destroyed due to a lack of knowledge, you know, and so every one of us are called to take over some industry in the world, and my calling has been the accounting industry, and I don't take that lightly. And so I'm excited to get out of my comfort zone this year and share my gift and my passion to the world, and join you every Thursday night during tax season and share with you. So DM us, message your questions if you feel like you have a particular tax situation then that you feel like is a problem. And let me tell you, no problem's too scary. I can't tell you how many people come up to us and say, our stuff is a mess, or I'm a mess. I'm like, listen, you wasn't as bad as me. We are our worst. When we first started out, I had to catch up on 2 years of accounting, but we're totally caught up now. But no, we handle every worst case scenario. And like I said, we have a registered IRS agent on our team. And anytime I have a client that has some really, really, really tough tax issues, I assign Jadish as your preparer, and him and I together work your problem. And so that when it goes to the IRS, they can see that somebody that is really credentialed had worked on your things, and just really showing that good faith effort that you're doing everything to get this matter resolved. So DM us, message us, book us, for a private consultation. And we would love to be on this entrepreneurship journey with you, where creatives go for taxes. We believe that we're helping businesses, we're helping build the businesses of tomorrow. Our mission is to work alongside nonprofit agencies and government agencies in their pursuit in helping entrepreneurs, and we feel like we are a part of that body, and we're just walking out our kingdom assignment. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll work a little bit more on the technical stuff in the beginning. Hopefully we'll have Linda on next week to be our moderator, and we're going to have some live guests for you too. One day we're going to bring on Jadish, our registered IRS agent in India. He's going to have to wake up really early to have some time with you, but we're excited to be offering you this knowledge and empowering you and helping you. Just, if you can dream it, you can do it. That's our model, and we consider it a honor and a privilege. If God has called you to us, if you have been assigned to us, we are grateful, and we're excited to be on this journey with you. Okay, see you later. I'm about to back out of all these things one at a time, guys. Thank you so much. Stephanie Blakley, StephanieBlakley.com, DowntownLoopTaxes.com. You can find us on Google at Downtown Loop Taxes, and we'll be happy to be of service to you. We believe in servant leadership, and we are honored to be on this journey with you. Bye. Bye. Bye.